I don't usually get nervous going live, but I'm a little nervous today, I'll be honest. Hey, Mandy. All right. Well, I'm gonna get started. I won't take up too much of your time because, yeah, we have a lot. All of us have a lot going on. I have definitely been preoccupied and very much. I don't even really know how to put it, but basically, everything that's been going on recently has been at the forefront of my mind pretty much constantly, from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep, and even in my dreams. So I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely been affecting me quite deeply. And I know that this time is really hard for a lot of people, especially our Black friends, our friends of color. And there's just a few things that I wanted to share. I am not here to be any kind of expert on anything because I'm totally not. And I am not here to detract from powerful Black voices because they're the ones that need to be heard right now. They're the ones who have experienced this injustice for so long. But I will just share a little bit of my journey, so maybe some of you can also feel like, okay, I can start taking this journey. Honestly, all of this for me really intensely started when we brought Emmanuel home from Ethiopia. Maybe even a little bit before that. But I knew from the get-go that I was going to have to understand a lot more if I was expected to raise a Black child. And I have become more and more aware of that as time has gone on, and aware of where I was lacking in the tools that I needed. But thank God, He's always brought along the people and the tools and the resources to help me. So as you all know, most of you know, I do have a son who is Black, and I have been doing a lot of work over the past few years to understand what it's going to be like for him when he grows up, or even as a kid, even as a teenager. And honestly, from kindergarten, he has already experienced some prejudice and some bias, and that's been eye-opening because he's a little kid who's like the sweetest, most tender-hearted kid in the world, and he's a little kid. But he's already experienced that, and I have definitely been made very much aware of my white privilege. So, last night, I'll tell you this, last night I got awakened in the middle of the night with, like, I heard a lady yelling outside. And Ben says he doesn't even remember that, but I remember hearing this lady yelling in the middle of the night. And it was like my adrenaline just went through the roof. Usually I wouldn't think much about it. There's a nursing home behind our house, and there's a lot of like staff that comes in and out at night, and they often play loud music and stuff, so I don't usually think much. But I woke up in a panic with my adrenaline just through the roof, like, oh my gosh, have the protesters made it out here? And I literally had the thought last night of like, I wonder if I should move Emmanuel's bed into our room, because there have been so many images recently that we've all seen that smack of the 1950s and the 1960s. And I've had the thought, like, who knows that I'm here and that I have a black son, and who might like throw a brick through our window. I've never, ever, ever, ever thought of that before until now. And I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my kids. And I don't know if that's a thing that would ever happen, but the fact that that's even something in my brain right now is like, yikes. Like, I'm like, there's so many layers to having a black child as a white family. Because there can be misunderstanding from both sides. But honestly, it's the white people who say the stupid things most of the time. Things like, you're so lucky to have these two as your parents, saying that to my son. I just can't even begin to express the stupidity of that kind of thing. No, there's no luck involved. First of all, with adoption always starts with tragedy, always, every time. Because what was supposed to be isn't. And there's tragedy related with his identity, and yeah, you might be well-meaning, but you're not, like, I didn't adopt Emmanuel to be his savior. I adopted him because there were kids that needed home. And I by no means was even qualified to do it. Kids need a home. Kids need a family. I didn't do it because these poor black children in Africa need a white savior. No. Although sometimes it can be perceived that way, and that's okay, because I know that does happen, and I don't take personal offense from that. But this isn't about me anyways. I'm getting off track. I just had the thought last night that with so much volatility happening right now, that I fear a little bit more living, especially in Texas, of how our family could be perceived and what could happen to us. And I'm not worried about that from black people. I'm worried about it from white people. And I've seen so much anger, and I've seen so much just like a gross fight for rights from white Christians. I told you I was nervous about this, but I'm being really honest. Since COVID, of your freedoms being taken away, and like just so abrasively vocal about how you can't be forced to wear a mask, and then this happens with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and honestly, it's been going on for a very long time. But something hit a nerve with COVID and all of this happening back to back. But so many people who have been so vocal about how they have a right to not wear a mask, or that they have a right to know what's really going on inside the government, haven't said anything, or have maybe done a black square for Blackout Tuesday yesterday. And I think at the end of the day, I want Jesus followers to act like Jesus followers. And I actually just wrote a post on Instagram just now, because I process sometimes just with writing. I'm not always as good with talking. But I just wrote a post about, like, what is it that Jesus said he came for? And he quoted Isaiah 61. He said He came to declare liberty to captives, to comfort those who mourn, to bring light to prisoners, and to declare the year of the Lord's favor. Do you know what that is? That is actually a reference to the year of Jubilee, which is when bondservants, aka slaves, were finally given the opportunity to be free. And that really struck me today, because our Black brothers and sisters do deserve to finally have the opportunity to be free. Truly, truly free. Free to walk through their neighborhood without fear. Free to be smiled at the grocery store for no other reason than they're just another person at the grocery store, just like me. Freedom to have thriving businesses that get paid the same as white businesses. Free to wear their hair however they want without getting their pay cut or having someone worried that they're going to vandalize their home. Freedom to speak up and not be called hateful and angry. Freedom to be angry and not be perceived as hateful. My son is adorable, and he's strong, and he is Black. And he has a tender heart, and I had a friend ask me today if I've talked with him about George Floyd at all. And I said no. And honestly, the biggest reason is because he is so tender-hearted that it would haunt him to the point where he wouldn't be able to sleep. This is the kid who, as I was telling my friend this morning, this is the kid who, when he sees an ambulance or a fire truck, his whole body and his whole mind stops and worries about the person who got in an accident. Mom, why are there so many car accidents? Mom, are they hurt? Mom, are they going to be okay? Mom, what happened? He cannot stand seeing a tiny animal in pain, let alone a person. And if he found out right now that there are men being hurt and killed because they look like him, it would destroy him. And I'm very, very concerned for that day when he will find out. And I don't know how to tell him. I don't know when, but I just want him to stay little. I love he's little. Yesterday when I woke up, I'll be honest with you, I woke up after the kids woke up yesterday, but when I found my kids, they were sitting at the dining room table. Fina was wearing a tutu, and Emmanuel was wearing a crown and a blanket as a cape. And I just thought to myself, let's just stay in COVID quarantine forever, because you get to be little and you get to play and you're not worried about a thing, except when do I get to go swimming next and what's the next movie that we get to watch. That's all they worry about when they're home. But my son also is very, very aware of his skin color, very aware. Part of that is because he wakes up every day knowing he looks different than his family. And he tells us sometimes, like, I wish I was white because I want to look like you. And we have to validate his pain. And we can't say, oh, honey, it doesn't make a difference if you're white or Black. Because it does. It 150% does make a difference that he's white or Black, that he's Black and I'm white. So for some reason, these conversations always happen in the bathroom after brushing teeth, and I'll just sit on the toilet seat and let him sit on my lap and cry. And I won't share too much because his privacy is valid. But I just want to say, like, he's a little kid and he's been aware of this since day one. He knows that he's Black, although he doesn't really understand. We try to explain like why people say Black, because he's like, I'm not Black and you're not white. He's very literal. But he's just aware. He's very aware. And let me tell you, your Black friends are aware of it. Everywhere they go, every place that they go, they're aware of it. And we need to respect that, and we need to validate it, and we need to understand that their experience is so different than a white person's experience in life in general. And even me growing up, I know that I was taught the things that were wrong. And I want to spend my life as an act of repentance for that, and turn around the generational lies that have been passed down to me, to the point where, like, I will uplift the Black community and Black voices as much as I can. So moving on, I didn't expect to go into all of that, but something that I do want to share that I have learned is that it's not our Black friends' jobs to educate us. And I think one of the totally unintentional consequences of the last couple of weeks has been white people finding their token Black friends. Sorry to be so blunt, but white people finding their token Black friends and asking them what to think or what to say or what to feel. That's not their job. And in fact, for many, it can be very exhausting and triggering and make things worse, because they have had to bear this for a very long time, forever. And they live it every single day, and they have the pressure of it. And right now, this is a huge time of grief and mourning for the Black community, and their need for self-care is significant. Hey, any Black friends watching, you do not have to watch this. And go get some ice cream and watch a comedy, take a nap. You deserve it. But I've seen and had conversations with so many people saying, like, my friends want me to tell them what to say and what to think and what to do. So let me encourage you that you have access to Google. You have access to the library. Even if it's closed, you can get stuff from the library online, some in person, and you have access to YouTube, and you have access to people you can pay to teach you. There are people who actually teach this stuff and coach it, but you pay them because it's work. It's hard work, and it's draining work, because it causes them to relive grief over and over and over again. And so they deserve to be compensated for it. Now, cultivating real friendships and real relationships with Black people, yeah, do that. 100%. Instead of saying, I am so sad that this is happening, what can I do? Say to your Black friends, how the heck are you? Can I bring you some coffee? Take care of them. This is not their time to take care of you. This is our time to take care of them. And yeah, I just want to take care of you guys. And I just wish that I could give you a collective vacation while we fight to fix the things that we broke. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for all the times before I had any awareness that I was the girl who was afraid of the men in the do-rags. And I was the girl who would choose to walk down a different grocery aisle because I didn't even know how to meet the eyes of a person of color. And I was the girl who wanted the rest of the story before I believed what happened. I thank God that I'm not that girl anymore, but I know that I was. And I know that there are many out there who are still like that. But also remember, white friends, that if you're kind to your black friends, you're not doing them a favor. You're just treating them like human beings. And we don't deserve a pat on the back for speaking up against racism. And we don't deserve a pat on the back for reading a book about it. We are simply doing what we should have done all along in seeing our black friends in the black community as people who are gifted and talented and funny and creative and smart and successful and just incredible in any way that any of your friends, hopefully, that you admire, you know. Don't add black people to your following list to make them feel good or to make yourself feel better. Do it because you honestly want to have them in your life as people with a voice, with something to say, with something to teach you, with something to offer, with skills that you can admire and learn from. Just change the dialogue in your brain. And I saw a great video yesterday about how changing that dialogue and recognizing the way that you do have actually functioned will probably cause a trauma response. Sorry, I got a phone call. And that's okay, but don't let it stop you. And when you get that trauma response in your body, which will feel like exhaustion, it will feel like, okay, I'm too tired, I need to take a break from this. Remember that we have friends who can't take a break from this from the day that they're born until the day that they die. And that exhaustion is a small glimpse of the solidarity that you can stand with your black brothers and sisters. So I'm talking way more than I thought I would, but here's a challenge for you. For my Christian friends, go find some amazing gospel music, black music. I have been listening to Maverick City non-stop recently, and I love it. Honestly, the purest, most amazing worship. And just get those voices in your house, get them in your ears, get them in your family's ears, and allow those voices to be normalized and recognized and loved in your family. When you go to the library, when they open again, try to find books for your kids with protagonists that are people of color. That's been one of the most fun things for me as a mom, is to find books where my son can see himself. And my daughter now appreciates color so much because of that as well. And the last thing that I would say is there are very accessible resources, like I said at the beginning, but I would like to create an environment where you can feel both in community while you are learning this stuff, but also have the accountability to be able to say like, wow, this really hit me wrong and I don't know why. Like, for example, I was talking to my sister yesterday. I've recently started reading a book called When They Call You a Terrorist, and it's by the two women who actually started the Black Lives Matter movement. And my white sensibilities were punched in the face within the first 2 pages, and I was so glad. I was like, this discomfort is exactly what I need. But that's going to happen to you if you're really serious about this, and you need to embrace it. It's false guilt that you are going to feel sometimes. It's not real. It isn't real. So that being said, I would love to set up some opportunities for us. And Netflix, in response to COVID, set up a thing where you can watch things on Netflix with friends. And it is super fun. I've only done it with my sister so far. You have to do it on a computer. But basically, I would like to start doing Netflix watch parties with friends with some of the amazing resources that they have on Netflix. I would like to start with a movie called American Son, because I think that will weed out the people who are not serious. And if that happens to be you, that's fine. But I want to keep the people around who are serious about this, because it will definitely hit up against some of what you believe or what you don't believe, that movie, but it is incredible. So we will start there, and then we will probably move forward into When They See Us, which is a series that is very, very important for, I believe, everyone to watch. So if you are interested in doing that with me, please let me know. I haven't picked a day or a time or anything. I just wanted to put it out there, create the opportunity to do this in community, and to actually hold you accountable to saying, yes, I want to learn more, I want to do more. So yeah, let's do that together. It's very easy, it's very accessible, and hopefully it will teach you something. So let me know, and I will get that set up. I'll probably post about it here in the next couple of days too. I love Jesus. Let me just say that. I love him so much. I love that at the end of the day, we can just come to him for wisdom and ask him to teach us and lead us to the people that we need to hear from. But it's just fascinating to me that all this is happening right now, like in my little tiny world, where I have continually said, God, use me, God. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, there's a lot of great things happening right now as far as growth in my business and responsibility there, and really taking things seriously. But now I'm also realizing, like, okay, I've been asking God, like, where am I supposed to show up? What is my voice supposed to look like on social media anyway? And if anything, right now, it's to amplify Black voices. So that is my goal. And I hope you'll join me. So I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm sorry I wasn't super eloquent and concise, but I love you guys and I'd love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be talking about this again soon. But yeah, that's it for now. Okay, bye.